Hey guys, welcome back to the channel McNallie Money, home of all things stock, investment, and personal finance related. In today's video, we're going to be profiling First Atlantic Nickel Corporation. This is one that I've been watching for quite some time. A subscriber actually put it on my radar, and there's a number of updates that I wanted to talk about in relation to this company. Now, before we get into it, please take a second, smash the like button, you guys. Big help to myself and the channel. If you're not already subscribed, McNallie Money, feel free to join. We're just about there at the 45,000 subscriber milestone. We'd love to have you as part of the community. And finally, leave a comment in the section below. Let me know if you're holding shares of First Atlantic, your outlook on this sector overall, and your thoughts for the back half of 2024. Now, with that being said, let's get into today's video. Okay guys, so that's right. Today's video, we're going to be profiling First Atlantic Nickel Corporation. As you can see here, trades on the OTC in the United States under the ticker FANCF. And this is actually a relatively new listing. You can see First Atlantic Nickel just uplisted to the United States OTCQB on the 4th of June. Now, worth noting that this company also trades on the Toronto Stock Exchange Venture or TSX Venture under the ticker FAN. And if we jump over to that listing, which has a little bit more history to it, you can see on a 6-month view, very strong momentum building for First Atlantic, really since about the end of February, where they were trading at 6.5 cents Canadian, currently trading hands at 13 cents. And this is as of Monday, June 24th. Again, 13 cents Canadian, or on the US side of things, trading just shy of 10 cents. Now, in addition to that, you can see a number of other big press releases in recent weeks in relation to First Atlantic Nickel, and that's exactly what we're going to focus on in today's presentation. Now, for those of you who are unfamiliar with First Atlantic, I'll leave this linked in the video description below. The corporate website, you can see leading the charge as North America's first awaririte nickel project in the Atlantic. Now, as many of you are probably aware, nickel is essential in modern day society. It has high energy density and electric conductivity, making it an essential and needed component in electric vehicle batteries and renewable energy infrastructure. Awaririte is the future of clean nickel. So awaririte is a rare nickel iron alloy mineral with high nickel content and has extremely high value concentrate potential, as there's no smelting required, which means overall lower carbon footprint. Now, this is a world-class mining jurisdiction, as we've talked about in prior videos. Here in Canada, specifically Newfoundland and Labrador, has been ranked 4th globally for their mining investment and the jurisdiction's overall friendliness towards mining in the past. It's a strong pro-mining government in place. You've got the support of the community, and you're eligible for US and Canadian critical minerals financial support measures from both governments. Now, in addition to that, they're helping to secure the Western supply chain for these critical minerals and materials that are involved in a lot of these next generation technologies, like, again, electric vehicles, the charging capabilities, and the energy infrastructure. And again, no smelting required with this awaririte nickel, which means a reduced reliance on China's control of nickel smelting. And you've got that strategic location on the Atlantic coast of Canada, which is going to reduce the dependence on Indonesia for nickel supply on that side of North America. Now, if we move over to the investor presentation, you can see a number of key catalysts for First Atlantic Nickel Corp, including that first mover advantage, critical mineral security, meeting future demand, again, for EVs and things of that nature, superior nickel project, which we're going to get onto in a second here, that top tier location on the East Coast or Atlantic Ocean, and unparalleled size, which you're going to see in the next few slides. So this is actually a look at the Atlantic Nickel project here. You can see it runs along a 30-kilometer long nickel trend in the ground, which is a district scale potential opportunity here. And again, some of the benefits of this awaririte formation, which is a rare high nickel alloy offering potential for sustainable high value nickel concentrate production without the requirement of smelting, resulting in the lower environmental footprint. Now, we've talked about the prime infrastructure associated with this location, along with the access to existing roads and clean hydroelectric power, which is available to support mining operations. Now, they then go on to talk about all the different use cases for nickel itself, really ranging from infrastructure, construction, military, clean energy, and batteries in electric vehicles. And as you can see here, they've shown a Cybertruck, which is specifically interesting. They refer to it as a nickel beast. You can see compared to other vehicles here, you guys, based on the expected demand for this vehicle model or the Cybertruck, and the fact that these vehicles come with a high nickel, cobalt, manganese cathode, really puts nickel in center stage again in terms of the demand expectations over the next few decades. Now, interestingly enough, based on Tesla's production numbers of 375,000 Cybertrucks a year, and the fact that the average nickel mine produces around 42,000 tons per year, it's theoretical that Tesla alone could require up to 2 nickel mines just to support the production of their Cybertruck through its nickel-rich stainless steel body and, of course, the NCM cells and cathodes. And that's in addition to a designation from the US Department of Defense back in September of 2023, stating nickel is a critical mineral input to produce high-temperature aerospace alloys, stainless steel, and chemicals for lithium-ion batteries. And as a result, they've deemed these critical minerals as essential to the economic or national security of the United States. And then most recently, you can see the US and UK governments have banned the import of Russian nickel in April of this year. And fast forward to May, the US has now passed a bill imposing tariffs on Chinese electric vehicles, batteries, and solar cells, again further constricting the supply and putting increased focus on domestically sourcing nickel in North America. So currently the United States mines less than 1% of global nickel annually, with NATO and their allies combined making up for less than 10% of nickel around the world each and every year. So the fact that they've now located this type of property or asset in Canada with the scale that we see with First Atlantic Nickel really is something special. Now, this article came out from stocknewstrends.com, also talking about First Atlantic Nickel Corporation, and I thought this was a very fitting way to end off today's video. Now, this one's titled Urgent Need for War Metal Leads to Hidden Gem Discovery. You can see the two listings here, FANCF on the OTCQB and FAN on the TSX Venture. We talked about the breaking news in terms of the uplist to the OTCQB and took a look at the presentation already. Now, as we continue to scroll through the article and to fill out or give some context to that headline, you can see in today's society where there's a lot of geopolitical tension and uncertainty in the world, nickel has been identified as a critical mineral in terms of powering modern technology and defense. And in addition to all of the other applications that we talked about above, the United States Department of Defense has now acknowledged nickel's significance in military applications such as jet turbine engines and ship wiring. So as a result of the demand on the civilian side of things and on the military application side, nickel demand itself is expected to surge by 140 times in some of these key sectors. Now, as a result, Goldman Sachs has declared that nickel is already entering a bull market. However, despite all of these bullish indicators, the United States is still heavily dependent on imports for nickel from countries like Indonesia, China, and a variety of other players that have concerns about national security and potential supply chain resilience. So with that being said, that's how they introduce First Atlantic Nickel Corp and the corresponding 5 reasons why they're extremely excited about this opportunity. Now, first and foremost, you guys, is that strategic positioning amid this global shortage. So as we just mentioned, a lot of the countries where we traditionally source nickel from are no longer reliable or dependable. The second point, which we just talked about in terms of requiring nickel or classifying this as a critical mineral for modern defense and technology requirements. The third point is really a combination of those first two, so ensuring national security and the ability to source nickel domestically. Fourth is the clean and sustainable nature of this nickel deposit specifically, again, focusing on that Awarierite formation. And then fifth is the prime location of Newfoundland, Canada, with the strong government and community support, as we alluded to, and the access to that existing infrastructure. Now, earlier in the presentation, I mentioned that First Atlantic Nickel has first mover advantage in this region. And when you combine this factor with all of the other catalysts, including the high-grade deposit itself, the fact you've got that strategic location and the elimination of the need for smelting, there really is something special about this opportunity. And when you couple that with the wide array of use cases for nickel itself and the fact that we're so dependent on the importation of this mineral, it really paints a nice story for companies like First Atlantic Nickel Corporation. Now, interestingly enough, when you couple that with the military importance of this asset and the fact that Canada currently remains the only major nickel producer with a largely secure supply route to the United States, it makes First Atlantic Nickel Corp's operations in Newfoundland particularly significant. And again, you can see comments directly from NATO cautioning against overdependence on Chinese minerals as those relationships continue to strain. So again, the goals of the United States right now are to secure that critical mineral supply chain, recognizing and understanding how invaluable nickel's role is in defense itself, and reducing overdependence on China, again by strengthening those Western supply chains, all of which First Atlantic Nickel Corp is able to address and support with their operations here in Canada. And again, you can see this strategic location in the slide pulled from their investment deck. Now, in addition to that, First Atlantic Nickel Corp is located just 40 kilometers from Grand Falls, Windsor in Newfoundland, Canada. We talked about the Awarierite formation, which again is a naturally occurring nickel iron alloy, and the fact that this 21,850 hectare parcel of land is wholly owned by Atlantic Nickel Project and has multiple different mineralized zones, indicating again the potential for that district scale model with multiple different deposits. Now, they've already got over 8,900 historic samples of the location, with 4,600 of those showing elevated nickel over a 30-kilometer core trend area, which we talked about in the intro, and the fact that this deposit is in close proximity to other highly productive areas within Canada. And one of those is Voisey's West, which is considered a world-class mine with 32.4 million tons at 2.13% nickel. And you can actually see on a valuation basis, or compared to others in this space, First Atlantic really represents a fraction of what some of these other market caps are going for in the nickel sector. Now, in addition to that, you guys, you've got a seasoned, experienced, and well-connected management team led by Adrian Smith, who's the CEO and director of First Atlantic Nickel. He's got over 15 years of mining and exploration experience, including knowledge of taking a project from discovery to over 7 billion tons defined within a 2-year period. So the ability to move quickly, he's surrounded himself really by an all-star cast in the space. So when you take all of this together, you guys, the fact that we've got this global shortage, demand is expected to surge rapidly over the next few decades, this desire from the United States government to find new suppliers of nickel to fuel future growth, not only on the civilian side of things, but also on the military side. Plus the fact that First Atlantic Nickel is located here in Canada, one of the best mining jurisdictions in the world, and eliminates the need for smelting, it really does present quite a compelling opportunity. Now, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comment section below, specifically if you're already holding shares of First Atlantic. If you're still watching the video at this point, hopefully you found some value, so make sure you hit the like button. And if you're not currently subscribed to the channel, McNallie Money, feel free to join. We'd love to have you as part of the community. That's all for now. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.